Hi, I'm Leah Thayer. Today on the Acceleration Conversation, we're going to be talking about characteristics for acceleration candidates that tell us that maybe a different intervention would be a better fit. Remember that this is a major academic action. This is not reversible, and it has been shown to be very effective for students who need it for academics, and the typical social concerns are not borne out in the research when students are placed well. That's why today we're going to talk about the profiles of students who would not be a great fit for this. First of all, academics. Normally, students who are recommended for an acceleration consideration do have high academics, but maybe they're not that high, or they haven't been consistently high, or not in every area, and so they might still have some significant potholes. Grade level materials are designed for typically developing students, so we don't want to put a student in a situation where they would struggle. If they're currently successful, we want to celebrate that and leave them where they are. If aptitude data shows they would struggle, for example, if they're less than the 50th percentile, we definitely need to find another way. If they'd be between the 50th and 75th percentile, I'd be on the fence and I'd be looking at other factors to help make that decision. We also don't recommend a whole grade acceleration if the cognitive ability is average, if it's within one standard deviation. There is one exception to this, and that is if we're realigning grade placement because of a move. For example, if students are moving in from out of country, out of state, out of district, maybe they're going from homeschool or private school into the public school, and so they've just followed a different scope and sequence. Those students can often be accelerated, but aren't necessarily identified as gifted or talented. If a student struggles to deal with challenge mentally or emotionally, we don't want to put them in a position where they're going to have a hard time, so we probably just need to find a better solution for them. If the family does not either support the move or can't support the student academically in the next grade, they might have extra homework, they might need to catch up, fill some potholes, things like that. So if the family can't support that, then we need to find another option. If advancing a grade would make them miss anything like high school credits, make them graduate late, would miss out on scholarships or grant opportunities, then we can also serve them in a different way. One important issue that we need to consider is not just a child under consideration for acceleration, but also siblings. There are situations where that comes up, like if there's twins, triplets, anything like that in the current grade, and one of them would be moving, that is a hard stop. We definitely don't accelerate kids in that case. The exception to that would be if there's twins and they're both accelerating, then that we could go ahead with that. If there's an older sibling in the next grade, so for example, a fourth grader accelerating to fifth grade where there's already a fifth grade sibling, we would also need to avoid that situation because we're considering the psychological considerations for each child, not just the child who would be considered for the acceleration. Now, there are a couple of things that we need to think about on a case-by-case basis. The physical size of the student is one of them. That's not to say that kids who are small for their age can't be accelerated. It happens all the time. It's just something that we need to think about. Everybody handles that differently. And then also things outside of school, like sports or other extracurricular activities. Is being in a different grade going to alter that course for them? Students who have attention issues, anxiety, dyslexia, things like that, that's not a hard and fast rule that they can't accelerate at all. I've done accelerations for 2E kids all the time. It's just, it needs to be discussed as part of the student profile with the team. Like I said, I've led accelerations in a very large district for years, and there is no perfect candidate for acceleration. Everybody has complicating factors. This is why the decision needs to be made by a team. And if the team can't agree, then I would recommend that you have just a policy or a procedure that you always leave it up to either the school principal or a district expert. I think that that's the way to go because teachers and parents are often too close to this situation, and sometimes they can't see the whole big picture like a district person or a school principal can see. So we have this candidate who's maybe not an ideal acceleration candidate. What should we do instead? They are bright, they do need something different. That's great, that's fine. And there are a lot of other services we can offer them, like a partial acceleration. That means that instead of changing their whole grade, we would just maybe accelerate them in 1 or 2 subject areas. In secondary, that's easier to do. You can just have them go to, a different math class or a different reading class. At elementary, maybe they're walking up the hall. I have some other conversations you can check out about partial acceleration. You can also do other things within the classroom, like curriculum compacting, gifted and talented services, or other alternate class placements. We just have to be creative here. Differentiation has usually already been tried, but if you need some support in differentiating even more than what's been happening, we can help you with that here at Thayer Consulting. So give us a shout if you have any advice you're looking for specific situations or consultations. We're happy to help with that. Or you can join the conversation in the comments section. And if you think of any topics for future conversations, please leave those there as well. I'll talk with you soon.